I'm Khalida Rashid and I live in Unley. I have lived in Unley since 1956 and I've seen lots of changes in that time, yes. I lived in the Riverland, had my education mostly there, and I started school as a 5-year-old in the Renmark West, as they called it then. And I could only speak Arabic because that's what we spoke at home. But, you know, as a child, you soon learn the other languages around you. I still feel very much attached to the Lebanese culture. At school, there were different times when, you know, you might have been bullied or, you know, isolated a bit because of your looks, so you were darker and, you know, whatever. Most schools now have very diverse populations. It'd be very uncommon for there to be a school which didn't have a number of different cultural groups in it. One of the things my husband did a lot of when he was still very engaged in the community, because he became what we call a sheikh in the community, and he was actually then given the responsibilities of running marriage ceremonies and being person that, you know, organised the funerals and so on. I've always been grateful that my parents migrated to Australia, really. That was one of the issues that also affected the migration. When my in-laws and my parents came to Australia, they travelled without Lebanese identity, really, because of the White Australia policy. You could not get naturalisation if you had Asiatic background. But the photos that I have here were the ones that my father-in-law would have brought back with him probably when he came, and they show Lebanon as he left it as a young man. When you look at this and then you compare the buildings as they are now, you realise just how difficult it must have been. They had to build these homes themselves, really. And the reason you can see these animals around is because the buildings were often elevated to be 2 or 3 levels high, and the very bottom was for where the animals would be housed in winter. And this is my father-in-law as a young man, and he lived in Muta and started a bike shop. And that's him there, and it was quite successful. That's me as a young child and my brother. And I mean, and it was important. Families didn't have all the cameras and equipment that you have now, so they would take these photos. I think that Australia's been enriched by having the multiculturalism. There's no doubt about it. But earlier on, I think the British had a very strong control over everything. But since different waves of migration, I think definitely things have been enriched in Australia. So I'm really grateful to be part of all of that, really, quite frankly, to be able to celebrate Lebanese background with all the other groups, yeah.